We had rain when the sun was out. We had 5 home runs, and we had a player go down with injury. We had it all tonight, folks. Also, we had both teams going back-to-back home runs in the same inning. All in all, it was an interesting, fun night at the ballpark tonight in Cincinnati. Welcome back to the Phightins Phinal here on the Edge of Phillies Sports Network with your boy, Matty B. 11-4 Phillies with the victory, and with that win tonight, folks, we have eclipsed this. Right. The 10,000th Phillies victory in franchise history. Congratulations. It only took 139 years, and we got there. Win number 10,000 in Philadelphia Phillies sports history on Rob Thompson's birthday, nevertheless. So, huge night, I guess, there for the Phillies. I wonder if they'll have a cake, a big old 10,000 cake there in the clubhouse. But 11-4 victory, 5 home runs, ending the 6 home run-less game streak in a big way, as they were teeing off on let's face it, man, the hapless Reds, a great American Park tonight, and doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's feasting on that low-hanging fruit. We talked about it over and over and over again, and they have opportunity, as you can see over my right-hand shoulder, the Braves and Mets. The Braves are about to do it to the Mets again. The Phillies are going to be about 9.5 games, hopefully, out of first place here in a few minutes. So the opportunities, once again, are setting themselves up. Now it's a matter of the Phillies cashing in on them. But more on that in a second. Let's head over to the line, shall we, and talk about tonight's game. As I mentioned, a big one offensively for the Phillies. 11 runs tonight for the Phillies on 18 hits. No errors for the Reds. 4 runs on 9 hits. They did have an error. How it all went down at the ballpark. The top of the third, Derek Hall got it going with a huge monstrous home run to left center, making it 1-0. And then Castellanos will come back-to-back with him. He would then homer, make it 2-0 heading into the bottom of the third. And then Jake Fraley would homer to tie things up at 2-2. It was a 2-run jack. And then Jonathan India behind him would homer to make it 3-2 Reds. And as I mentioned, 4 home runs. Both teams went back-to-back in the same inning. You got a little scared. I know I did. But the Phillies would put those fears to bed pretty early on in the top of the fourth. Hoskins would then get into the home run action as he jacked a 3-run shot, scoring Maton and Verling. Of course, Nick Maton was in the game for the injured Brandon Marsh, making it 5-3 and pretty much closing the door on the Reds. Matt Verling would knock in Castellanos later on and make it 6-3. Reese would then add his second homer of the game, a 2-run jack in the 8th to make it 8-3. And then Garrett Stubbs would get in the home run, hit and mood himself in the 9th, a 3-run shot, scoring Castellanos and Gene Segura. And then the scoring would be topped off in the bottom of the 9th, where TJ Frindle would single in Kyle Farmer to make it 11-4, but that's how things would be over with. On the offensive individual side of things, Bryce the Stott man in that leadoff spot tonight, 0-for-6. Woo! It's a hard night, man. 0-for-6, baby. He did have a strikeout as well. Rhys Hoskins was 3-for-6, 2 runs, 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, stolen base for Rhys on a big offensive night for him. Alec Boehm, 2-for-5. Derek Hall, 1-for-5 with the homer, the RBI, run scored. Nick Castellanos, 3-for-5, and a very productive night for him back in Cincinnati. Scored 3 runs with an RBI and a homer. Gene Segura, 3-for-5 as well. Brandon Marsh, as mentioned, went down with an injury. He was taken out of the game, was 1-for-1 at that point. I hope things are okay. He came off on his own power. We do not need another injury, especially in center field, folks. Nick Maton came on. Matt Verling was put into center field. Maton took over for Verling in left. He went 1-for-4. Garrett Stubbs, 2-for-3 tonight. 2 runs, 3 RBIs, and a homer himself. And then again, Matt Verling, 2-for-4, RBI, and an run and an RBI. For the Reds, Jake Fraley, 2-for-4 with a run, 2 RBIs, and a homer. Jonathan India was 1-for-4 with a run, an RBI, and a home run. And TJ Frindle was 2-for-4 with a run and an RBI. And that was pretty much all the offense the Reds could muster. Pitching-wise, Kyle Gibson, a solid, wonky 6 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 11, folks, man. He struck out 11, but he did give up those 2 home runs. Brogdon, Alvarado, and Nick Nelson would come on and hold things on for the Phillies. TJ Zuch, as I mentioned, entered this game with an ERA close to 14. That ERA didn't get any much better. He lasted only 4 innings, gave up 11 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and 3 home runs. Detweiler, Farmer, Samaritan, and Lopez would then clean up, mop up roles for the Reds. And that's how you have it tonight, 11-4 Phillies. 11-4 Phillies in a big way. Back into this thing, 9.5. As I said, the Braves are doing their thing with the Mets right now, and if things work out, we're back to 9.5 games out and feeling pretty good about ourselves. But as we mentioned, the injury to Brandon Marsh really can't afford that right now. Definitely cannot afford that. This team needs to continue to roll. Hopefully, as I mentioned, he did walk off the field on his own power. Hopefully, that is a sign for great things to come. Dave says bats came alive tonight. They did in a big way. 5 home runs tonight, folks. 4th time the Phillies have done that feat in 2022. They now, as a team, folks, have clubbed 154 home runs, well on the way to possibly an over 200 home run season. Obviously, you can't have 6 games of no home runs, but I think the Phillies will definitely go over 2 home. And there you have it. Dave reports it. The Braves have won. So the Phillies are now 9.5 back. That's right. I'm keeping an eye on it, man. I'm not looking ahead, but I'm keeping an eye. 9.5 games back now, the Phillies are, as the Phillies will play tomorrow. The Mets still have 2 with the Braves, as they will play Thursday, and the Phillies won't. So things could get very, very, very interesting as we get ready for a huge 4-game set in Philly with the Phillies and the Mets. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, shall we? As Dave Yarnell was very kind enough to give us an update on the Mets-Braves. Let's look at some of the other action out there that kind of involves the Phillies. The Cardinals and Rockies are tied at 4-4, heading into the 8th inning in St. Louis. The Dodgers are losing to Milwaukee 3-2 at the end of 6 in Milwaukee. The Diamondbacks and Giants are just underway out in San Francisco. Nothing. The Marlins defeated the Padres earlier tonight. So the Phillies now pull another game ahead of the Padres. So a good night. And as Dave reported, the Braves defeated the Mets 5-0. So a positive night on the out-of-town scoreboard. We're getting that help that we weren't getting before, folks. So that's always a good thing. You got to look at that holistically, finally getting some help and taking care of their own business as they do tonight by a tune of 11-4. Now, tomorrow, things will get going early. 12:35 start tomorrow from Great American Ballpark. Ranger Suarez will go to the hill for the Phillies. He'll bring his 8-5, 3.52 ERA to bear against Nick Lodolo, who brings his 3-4, his 4.72 ERA to the mound for the Reds. 12:35 tomorrow, a business person special out there in the Natty as the Phillies and Reds will wrap up the series. Phillies have won the series against the Reds, their 18th series win of the season. That's huge, and that's how you win games. That's how you win. That's how you get winning records, is you win series. Phillies on the season now are 65-51. Rob Thompson moves to 43-22 as the Phillies manager on his birthday and on the 10,000th victory for the Phillies in franchise history. 139 years. That's all it took. Unfortunately, I guess I won't be around for 20,000 because I'll be dead. I hope I'm not around 139 years. That would be really bad. Matty, what's wrong with Joey Votto? I never seen him play this bad. Wow. He's maybe just beat down, Dave. This guy's been with the Reds his entire career. They were good for a little while, like last year, and then they decided to sell the farm. I mean, it's got to weigh on some people, man. Joey Votto is it's a good talent, man. He might just be beat down. Might be beat down. Might feel being used by the Reds a little bit. I don't know. It's a shame that I don't know why they're not trading him. I know Jonathan India. I understand why they didn't trade him. He's definitely going to be part of the resurgence. But Joey Votto, he doesn't have much left. He doesn't have maybe 5 years left in the league. Moving Joey Votto would have been the right thing to do for Votto this year to give him an opportunity to chase a World Series. So I think it's mental. I just think he's beat down. I mean, 10,000 victories in 139 years. You'd be pretty beat down too. But no, I do think it's mental with him. I just think he's just beat down by the organization, man. He just wants to win. And as I mentioned, 1 year they're good, then 5 years they stink. It's just up and down. And he wants some stability, man. He wants some stability. But tonight the Phillies didn't give him that 11-4 victory. Huge win. The Phillies did kind of did mess around again tonight with some things that have bothered me, but they were okay. They left 9 runners on base tonight, bringing up the total to 731 on the season, and they left only 4 in scoring position with 2 outs. So that's positive, right? But 9 on base, we've talked about this in nauseam, and it's a stat that's not going to go away. It's a stat that's actually going to get more magnified the closer we get to the playoffs, because every pitch, remember, in the playoffs, it's every friggin' pitch, it's every hit, it's every run, it's every runner. Everything counts, like, is magnified by 1,000%. As I mentioned before, I just mentioned it maybe an hour ago on my other show. They got to clean up that stat. They got to get better in order to make a championship teams score runs, championship teams get runners in, and the Phillies have struggled with that mightily in 2022. So, but tonight, good news is that they won 11-4, and we move on to tomorrow's business person special in Cincinnati. Phillies Reds series finale. Ranger Suarez against Nick Lodolo for the Reds, and then the Phillies will have off on Thursday before starting a huge 4-game set at home against the Mets as they welcome back the Mets, return, hopefully for some revenge, as we are kind of still licking our wounds from last weekend. And folks, let's take a look at some bills. Let's pay some bills, folks, shall we? If you are having some good times, if you are enjoying life, and then life decides to throw a curveball in your way, and you have some questions in reference to workman's comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, or criminal law, Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300 is the man to call. Tell Dave the boys at EOP sent you. And remember the OG podcast, Talking Philly Sports with Matty B. Before I was a sensation here on EOP, that was what I did. I did a podcast, which I still do, and it's available anywhere you can find your podcast. And folks, that's going to wrap me up tonight. Quick fire, fast in a hurry, 11-4, positive win. Brandon Marsh goes down with an injury. Got to keep an eye on that. That is something we got to stay away from. This team has been beset with injury, but the fact that they're still winning is definitely a testament to this team. I know I'm very critical of them, and I'm up and down like a yo-yo, but that's what a baseball season is. So hopefully Brandon Marsh can maybe take a day off or so. We can get him back. I do not want Odubel Herrera back on this baseball team in any way, shape, and or form. So hopefully Brandon Marsh is fine. But it looks like, when he comes off the field on his own power, that's a good sign. Obviously, when, the injury probably was sustained when he was landing, he made that jump out there in center field, kind of came down weird. That was probably where the injury occurred. Hopefully, as I said, going off on your own power is a prelude to being good. Maybe he misses a game or two with a day off coming up on Thursday. Probably not in the lineup tomorrow. So hopefully Brandon Marsh is fine, and hopefully we can keep this thing rolling into tomorrow. Ranger Suarez going for the sweepage of the Cincinnati Reds, and that is going to do it for me. But I always seem to forget this one last thing. What am I forgetting? Oh, yes, Harry the K. What you got?